Hi, I'm Darnell with Wave Oven Recipes, and this is my 30-day review of the Gourmia French Door XL Digital Air Fry Oven. And if you've not already seen it, please be sure to see the initial review for this cooker. In the initial review, that's where I do test cooks, measurements, tell you all the details, tell you how to use it. All of that stuff is in the initial review. Measurements, temperature testing, all of that in the initial review. This review is a 30-day follow-up. I just talked to you about my thoughts, impressions, feelings about using it for a month, how I feel it compares to a few others, and that's what's done in this video here. So basically I want to say for this cooker, generally speaking, it's giant. I mean, it's a gigantic cooker. And basically it's a great buy for what it can do. For what it does, it's a great buy. Usually, I mean, like I got this at Costco. A lot of people get it at Costco. Has a low price point. Often they have it on sale for even lower than its usual low price point. And it's a great cooker for what it does and for the low cost. And so overall, it just does a good job. I mean, I really enjoyed using this cooker. Generally, just generally speaking, it was a great cooker to use. It's been a great time using it. This cooker, as I showed in the initial review, it has 6 rack levels. I don't recall a cooker I've used before that had 6 rack levels, but I mean it's huge and it has 6 rack levels, so you have a lot of ability to customize where you set things and how much you can put in it. It's just real good, real versatile. And as far as the hotness of the cooker, after preheating, as far as the food that is cooked, I'd say it's a hotter end cooker, because after the preheat, things cook faster in this cooker than they do in other cookers even after they've had a preheat, or cookers without a preheat. Either way, it cooks pretty quick once it's got its preheat done. It does a real good job. And for things like, I finished a 10-pound brine turkey in here in just 90 minutes. That's much faster than in a lot of other cookers, preheat or not. To do a whole 10-pound turkey in just 90 minutes was pretty good. So I call it a hotter end cooker because once you get through the preheat, it does a real good job of cooking. Now, the cooker has no light, so it's a pretty large cooker. So even though it has no light, by being pretty large, you're able to basically usually see inside of the cooker pretty good because it's so large, you're able to see in. It'd be nice if it had a light, but I guess for the price point, you got to cut some things out. And so it doesn't have a light, but being so large, it's not too bad being able to see what's in there. It's not too much of a hassle. The cooker has basically a mandatory preheat on cooks, so I don't know a way to skip the preheat, but all the same, you can basically, with that preheat, you still can get a lot of your cooking done, as I said, pretty fast once that preheat is over with. So it does a pretty good job of cooking things up pretty well, but you do have to have the preheat for your cooks. Now, as far as the sound level, basically when cooking it's not very loud. It has a light fan sound, but it's not bad. The beeping on the cooker is loud though. It does, when you're pressing buttons and when it's done cooked, it does beeps that are pretty loud. So you can't adjust the sound or the volume or anything, and I guess that's another one of those things. Being a lower cost cooker, you don't, I guess, expect too much, but that's something to keep in mind. Beeping's loud, fan's not too loud. Now, there's no auto pause door on the cooker. However, when you press the cancel button, you're able to pause. So you do have a manual means to invoke a pause before you go into the cooker. It just doesn't do it automatically when you open the door. So there is a pause feature, it's just not on the door. And the cooker, after a cook, it stays warm for a while afterwards, so it's kind of cool if you want to basically cook something and just leave it in for a little while to just stay warm for a little while on its own. It can do that. Even though the cooker has a keep warm feature, if you're coming up, getting your food, without waiting too long, you don't have to use the keep warm feature. The overall evenness of cooks is good, but for baked goods you should spin them. It's good to spin the baked goods, but overall evenness is still pretty nice. The front door doesn't have a lot of seal, so you can see here there's not a lot of seal on the front door, and even though there's not a lot of seal, there's not a major discrepancy between the hotness in the back and the front. Even though you should spin your baked goods, it's not a like crazy amount of heat loss through the front. You know, it's like it's there, but it's not that bad. It's not that crazy. I've cooked stuff without spinning. It's not that crazy. It's not like that. So there's a little bit of heat loss through the front, but not too much. Overall, you know, like I cook things, and like cooking a whole turkey, I didn't move the turkey the whole cook 90 minutes. The backside was a little more cooked than the front, but not too bad. But Lord willing, that video will come in the future and you'll be able to see all that. There were no smoke issues with this cooker for me. No smoke issues. The user interface, in my opinion, is great. I like the user interface. So it's pretty easy to use, pretty easy to figure out. The cooker doesn't have any memory, so it doesn't memorize anything that you put in. But, you know, given the price point, that's not a major loss. Also, they have a lot of options to choose from, and so you can usually find a function option that's close to what you want to set for time and temp on a regular basis anyway. I'm going to talk about the functions that I use now, and some functions I didn't use, so I'll just talk about the ones I did. For toast, the toast feature is able to do toast, but it's a lighter end toaster. You know, I use almond flour whole wheat bread, which takes a bit more to cook than the store-bought white bread type of stuff. So it basically, it's a lighter type of cooker. It toasts, but it gives a lighter toast than other cookers on toasting. So you probably have to bump things up a little more. For me, even using the highest level 7 from an almond flour whole wheat bread wouldn't toast it too much. So it's a lighter toaster. And that, you know, with toast, you're coming from no preheat. You're coming from cold in a very large cooker. So that is what it is there. Air fry, it's good for an XL size cooker this size. It's a decent air fryer. It's a good air fryer for its size. And you have the rack positioning, so something to keep in mind is that the air fry fan is kind of in the middle. So if you're doing like the air fry rack with the bake pan underneath, you want to make sure that you position the bake pan below or a little below where the fan exhaust is, and have your air fry rack kind of at or above the fan level, so that you're not blocking the air fry fan with your bake pan. That's something to keep in mind when you're cooking and air frying. The seafood function works well. That does good for air frying seafood, but it's really just a preset of settings. It's air fry, but it's just a preset recommended for seafood. The bake function works well, and as I said, remember to spin, but it's a good baker. The roast function works great. Like I said, 10-pound turkey, no problem. Does a good job roasting. Things came out nice and moist. So roasting works well. Reheat works great. For you who are used to this channel, you know I don't use a microwave at all, so everything being heated in my house for all meals was going right in here, and it does a good job of reheating. Dehydrate works very well. I've done a dehydrate, and Lord willing, future video for that. It does a good job. The popcorn feature works well, and that's neat to be able to popcorn in an air fryer oven. And so I demonstrate that in the initial review if you want to see how to popcorn in it. And that was neat, and it works. I didn't use any other features, but those are the ones that I did use. Now, as far as cleaning the cooker, cleaning was hassle-free, no real issues there with cleaning. I'll show you inside of the cooker. You can see, and I don't use any special stuff to clean things out, so basically no real major issues inside. Now the pan underneath, I did get some stain on that pan underneath down there, and I'm not going to do anything to try and get rid of it because I'm not pressed by it. It's not anything that really bothers me. It's okay. And that single door pull action to open and close the doors is nice. Air fry basket, no problems. And it's so huge, I didn't even put it in a dishwasher ever. I just washed by hand. I washed everything by hand. Just use a wet rag and that's it. Wet soapy rag. And then rinse the stuff off, that was it. The bake pan does hold some stain. I cooked the whole turkey on here and other stuff, so it holds some stain, but I honestly was surprised how well things came off. I thought it would look worse than this after all that I've cooked on this pan. So I'm actually impressed how much it did not stick without having some of that like Teflon type stuff on it. And it's honestly better when you learn about the chemicals and things not to have those Teflon type pans, but that's something you can research yourself. So we've gone through the cleaning. Now I'm going to talk about comparisons with other cookers, and I'm just going to talk about comparisons with some. If I don't mention one that you're interested in and you're stuck between two cookers, that's going to be one for you to decide. I recommend you look at the reviews here on the channel and make a decision. So this cooker versus the Oster French door air fry oven, which is also an XL size cooker, basically the same size as this cooker. In my opinion, the folks at Gourmia copied the Oster French door air fry oven and made it better. I mean, same size, but they added 6 racks. Same size, but it has, to me, a better user interface. To me, it's like they just improved the Oster. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know who made what first or second, but that's just my opinion. This Gourmia versus the Cuisinart large air fryer oven. I overall prefer the Gourmia. The user interface I like more. I prefer the outcomes in the Gourmia better than I did in the Cuisinart. The Cuisinart with the fan coming down was a little harder on some things. And I think the results are just more consistent in the Gourmia, in my opinion, than in the Cuisinart large air fry toaster oven. I feel it's just more consistent, and I like using the Gourmia more. Now, comparing this Gourmia French door XL digital air fry oven versus the long-running champ, the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven, which has been the champ for 2 years now. It's been like 2 years running as the champ. But here's the deal. The Gourmia is larger, and so I can cook everything that I want, like on a single rack, all at the same time with the Gourmia. Yeah, even when I'm using like large ramekins and large things, I'm able to put it all on one rack and cook everything up, which is really cool. I prefer the Gourmia user interface here on this particular cooker. And although it needs preheats, overall it still finishes things faster. I mean, like something like a large turkey or something still overall cooks faster in this Gourmia French door XL digital air fry oven than turkeys in my Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven, which has its quickie 90-second preheat. So overall, even though it takes the preheat, it still knocks it out faster. The popcorn trick that I talked about is fun. That's just something fun to be able to have there, to show off cooking popcorn in the air fry oven. And so, although food has to be spun in the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven, you don't have to spin food around as much. But since it's able to hold so much food, it's okay. It's okay because you're able to cook so much at one time. And so overall, and with 6 rack levels also, I mean, the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven has like 4 rack levels. This has 6 rack levels, so that's kind of neat. So overall, I prefer the Gourmia. I've been enjoying the Gourmia and using it. So for me, the Gourmia French door XL digital air fry oven is the new champ. It's my new champ. And so this is why I tell people, get what you like. Don't worry about what I like. Find what you like, because not everybody's going to like what I like, but this is what I like today. This is the new champ for me. And so basically that's the end of the review, and I do hope that everyone has enjoyed the talk. And you can, of course, always give your thoughts, opinions, and feelings in the comments. But nothing in this video is sponsored. In the video description, there are lots of ways to help the channel, such as cookbook, donation, referral link, memberships, merch, link to Amazon shop to buy cookers using my referral, pay the same price, help the channel. And even if you use that as like your jump off point for other shopping, it could still help the channel. So that's a lot of ways to help out there. So with all of that said, if you did like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification icon, and good eating.